Okay, right. And please, if you not understand in between, just tak apa, just raise up your hand, just interrupt me je. Madam, saya tak faham part-part ni, just inform me. I don't mind. Okay? Lagi senang you clearkan part yang tak faham there and then daripada you kumpul lama lupa. That's not good lah. Okay? So we start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, balance of payment. So this is actually one crucial topic. I can say crucial topic. Why? Because it involves calculation and they say. And of course, the calculation is not so hard, but a bit tricky. Okay, I can say for the balance of payment, before 2014 and below. So there is actually the heavy calculation, but nowadays the trend is not more on the calculation a lot, but interpretation. But to give the interpretation, that means you must understand the basic first. You must understand everything, the structure first. Then you can give the interpretation in a very good explanations lah. Okay, if not, tu yang jadi masalah tu. Okay, never mind. Right, so we go. Okay, balance of payment. So first of all, what's actually what is it all about? The definition. Of course, this is actually a record that actually we record the transaction between two countries, not between two states. Kenapa saya asyik mention state ni? Because my experience, Masya Allah, student asyik mention between state. State tu negeri, my dear. Okay, the international trade, international, that's mean beyond, maknanya melepasi satu negara. We actually kata interact with other country. So that's why international trade is actually involve two countries. So this BOP is actually record the transaction between two countries. Example, Malaysia and Singapore. If there is actually activity, whatever the activity, international trade between Malaysia and Singapore. So we record in this balance of payment. So definitely one country, one balance of payment. Apa dalam BM, imbangan pembayaran, kunci kira macam itulah dia punya translation, but this is actually refer to the BOP, the balance of payment. Of course, this is actually a record of the monetary transaction between the countries resident and the rest of the world during a period, normally a year. So normally kita record ni berapa lama ni? For 1 year only. Okay, and of course, bila record, then once we record these types of the transaction, like accounting's principle, there is a debit, there is a credit, kan? Same goes like this, definitely. Lagi heavy benda-benda macam ni. So of course, the debit, according to the accounting principle, and of course apply in this BOP, which is a debit, refer to the money flowing out, money flowing out. And these examples of the item that represent the debit. Example, import of good. Import bermakna apa? Kita beli barang daripada negara lain, import, we import. Kita beli barang negara lain, kita bayar, duit kita keluar, kan? So that's import of good. So this is item actually showing debit. Use of the foreign service, capital outflow, gift paid abroad, net repayment to IMF, and the additions of official reserve. These are all the items that actually refer to the debit. Okay, so contra to the credit, if the debit money flowing out, but for the credit that means a payment which is money flowing into the country lah. As simple as that. Okay, so here flowing into the country. So these are actually the item that represent the credit. Example like export kita jual barang, kan? So we export our good to other country. Kita jual barang kita, dapat duit masuk dalam negara. Alright, so foreigners using local service, capital inflow, receive abroad, and net drawing from IMF, net drawings from the official reserve. These are the items that represent the credit. Foreigner using local service, contoh, tourists use our postal service, postcard ke to their home country ke, right? So for example, or maybe post their like parcel, anything which is they buy in Malaysia, and they want to just to pack first and parcel and to their country, to the home country. So they are using our service, our postal service, our courier. So they have to pay. So this is actually also give the money to country. So this is our refer to the credit. And one thing you have to remember, BOP must always sum to the zero. Okay, so in one transaction, so one record, the BOP must always have to be zero. Macam mana pun at the end dia kena zero. How? Nanti saya tunjuk macam mana. Okay. And for this BOP ni, okay, after we record everything settle in 1 year during at the end of the year. So what's actually the conclusion of the BOP? So what's actually all about? Maksudnya apa dia punya status dia? Apa conclusion dia? So at the end we will know the BOP or the transactions between the country, between the both country, let's say our country and Singapore. So what's actually kata the year, the conclusions, the trade, the transaction between this country, between these two country. So adakah kata cantik tak cantik, cantik tak cantik, actually is a trade status. And it's a trade status apa dia? Surplus, okay, balance, deficit. Ada surplus and balance, deficit. So three status. But surplus and deficit is actually refer to the imbalance. Imbalance tu maknanya tak seimbang, not in equilibrium. Okay, so BOP deficit and surplus mean imbalance between the currency and the financial account, which causes a drawing down or building up the foreign currency. And normally, kenapa deficit? Normally due to the sums of the balance on the currency and the financial accounts is negative because of these both two accounts, the sums, the total is actually negative. But if surplus, and normally both the totals of these both account will be positive. Terlebih pula sebab tu dia surplus. But for the deficit, it actually less. Okay, right? Here, okay, structures of the balance of payment. Alright, structures of the balance of payment. Okay, so later on I will show you in my handout. I hope all of you already print my handout. Dah print ke belum? Handout saya yang ini dah print ke belum? Dah ada tak depan mata awak sekarang ni?
Dah.
Dah. Okay, make sure ada pen, ada pencil ke apa, jot down whatever the important point. Right? So, bila belajar online ni, you kena make sure everything in front of you. Tak boleh ada dalam bag lah, ada kat situ lah, ada dekat komputer lah, apalah. Cannot. Okay? Online ni, you have to prepare everything in front of you. Alright? Okay, structures of the balance of payment. Okay, apa structure dia hari ni? Please, buka mata hati, buka mata akal, semua kena buka. Okay, there is basically consists of the 10 sub-accounts under the three main or major account as below. Okay, so ada 3 main account ataupun major account. Current account, capital dan financial account, ataupun sometimes today we just refer to the financial account only, and last is actually the official reserve account. There's a 3 main account, right? So for each major account ni, example for the current account, there is actually 4 sub-account. Ada 4 sub-account di bawah dia. Okay, which is a good trades, merchandise. Apa yang maksud saya slash ni? This is actually the name of this sub-account. Ya, betul. Nama dia ada banyak. So you kena familiar. So far, my experience, this is what I found out from the of course, from the reference book, from the final year paper. Sometimes this term come out. Okay, so please don't be confused. You tengok je term, you dah tahu dah. Oh, this is actually the term that refer to this phrase sub account. Okay, sometimes the terms come out as a good balance ataupun trade balance, or sometimes merchandise balance or visible trade balance. This is all the same thing. Alright, so you kena make sure adapt and familiar with this old name. Ni nickname lah, nama dia kata, nama manja dia lebih kurang lah. Ada banyak ni, saya ni banyak ni. Okay, so please remember. Don't be shocked to see that, tak boleh tengok pun benda lah ni. I already give you here. I already mentioned to you here. Everything I dah bagi lah. Okay, right? And second sub-account is actually service, or sometimes we refer as an invisible trade balance. Okay, service or invisible trade balance. Okay, and the third sub-account is actually primary income. Before ni panggil investment income, now primary income. Alright, tapi jarang saya tengok dalam final exam guna primary ni. Still dia still using income ataupun net investment income. Okay, never mind, after this I will show you. Right, and then number 4 sub-account is actually secondary income or current transfer. So same thing. So nampak tak, under current account there's actually 4 sub-account. 4 sub-account. Second major account, capitals and financial account. Okay, this is quite tricky. Okay, kalau dulu before this is actually separate account, but now this is actually combined capital and financial. But supposed to be ataupun kata, I mean in lately we just refer to the financial account, tak mention but it's a capital. Tapi saya sengaja masukkan capital, kenapa? Sebab I notice there is actually past year, there is a lecturer, other lecturer from other campus, of course they did the question, they still include this capital. So I tak nak cakap which is langsung tak masuk, tak boleh. Okay, sometimes actually depend also to the mind of the lecturer. If they want to actually include this, even though the format is actually dah tak ada lagi dah, but they still include. So saya tak nak itu terkejut tengok, ada pula, kenapa tak ada? Patutnya dah tak ada. Okay, so it's okay, but actually the same thing. Alright, but I will show you nanti in my handout. Right. Okay, so under capital financial account, after there's actually capital and the financial. Okay, under capital, there's actually can be divided or categorized to the long-term capital account and the short-term capital account. Under financial, there's a direct investment, portfolio investment, other investment. There are 3 sub-account. Okay, and last for the third major account, this is actually reserve asset ataupun international official reserve asset, the same thing. Okay, so this is actually the 3 major account with the each of the sub account. So altogether ada berapa sub account? There is a 10 sub account, and this is major account. So I think we refer to my handout later. Alright. Okay, cuba nampak ni, tengok ni, yang besar ni saya merah ni apa ni? Current account. Alright, second, this is actually capital account. Okay, this is financial account, and last kali is actually reserve asset. Okay, so ini adalah tiga, but this one ni actually combine di bawah satu major account, which is really for as a financial account. Alright. Okay, we go one by one. If you see my handout ni, kalau you tengok, nampak tak saya ada letak all the structure on the left side and the formula on the right side. Okay, I make it this way so easy for you to remember. I mean, if you want to study, just inshallah, if you just refer to these structures alone, and then you can figure out what's actually the balance of payment. But still, the notes, the explanation of each account, you have to refer to the notes. I already give you the note. Yeah. Okay, so look at, okay, cuba tengok ni. Yang saya letak number ni, 1, 2, 3 ni sampai bawah ni. Sampai bawah ni berapa ni? Ni nombor berapa ni? This one, the last ni. What number is that? That's Roman number. Berapa ni? Ada
17.
Pandai. Very good. 17. 17 ni apa? What is actually this 17 mean? 17 mean what's the calculations or the formula that you have to remember for this balance of payment record. But no worry, okay, no worry. If you see one by one, ya Allah, senang je. Okay, remember setting your mind. Setting senang, jangan setting susah. If you think, if your mind setting you set your mind is actually susahnya, susah lah you dapat. Things, it's actually easy and it's just can be memorized as simple as that. Okay, right. Okay, relax. Cuba tengok. Ini current account. This is current account. Okay, current account. As mentioned just now, this is one of the major account, right? And under this current account, there's a 4 sub account. I repeat again, which is nampak tak first ni yang sebut 1, 2, 3, 4. This is actually the sub account. First, a good trade, merchandise, visible trade. Okay, this is first sub account. This is service, invisible trade, balance. This is second sub account. Third, primary income, and fourth, secondary income or current transfer. Okay, these are the 4 sub account under current account. And the way I position all these sub account and item is actually these are the real way. Inilah cara sepatutnya. These are the real position. So if the question asks you to create ataupun build up the balance of payment record in the answer, so you kena put this way. You kena letak, buatlah macam mana pun, tetapi susunannya mesti begini. Mana positionnya mesti begitu. Okay, so this is actually the real way of the structures ataupun the positions of these calculations and all the formula involved. Alright, so jangan salah susun, sebab salah susun it will be domino effect. Apa dia domino effect? Nanti saya tunjuk kat awak. Okay, right, we go one by one. So first sub account is actually good. Okay, good ataupun apa slashnya with the trade, merchandise or visible trade. And lucky there's actually two item only, which is export and import. Okay, and for each account, as usual, like in the accounting, normally there's actually balance on account. I mean balance on each account. So sama lah juga macam ni. Balance on each sub account. After that, balance on overall account keseluruhan. Okay, first, okay, for the first sub account ni je, balance on good trades, merchandise or visible trade. Bila you tulis nanti dalam jawapan, no need to write all this, no need to write all this on the complete slash name ni. You just write whatever that provided in the final. Okay, if the question the final just mention trade balance, just mention trade balance. Tak perlu nak slash ni semua. This one is only, I mean, the information I inform you, I told you, which is these are the other names of this account. Okay, right? So how to calculate, how to get this totals of this account? Okay, cuba tengok formula di belah kanan. Apa dia formula dia? Export minus import. As simple as that. So export minus import. So that's mean for the good, which is ni lah 480 tolak lah kita 76. Maybe the figure here is not so correct because I just put there. What I mean is actually the example that I want to show to you. Okay, that's the most important thing. Alright, so here for this sub account, the first sub account, how to get this, you have to minus export minus import. Alright, so this is actually the answer. Okay, that's it for the first. Okay, then we go to the second. Second, service or the invisible trade balance. The name is actually service, so that's mean the items, whatever the items is actually refer to the service. And what's the example of the service? Net foreign and insurance, transportations, travel, government transactions, other service. Yang saya letak kat sini, this is actually the cliche one, the common one, yang paling selalu keluar ni lah dia. Right? So this is normally yang keluar. Alright. So these are the examples of the item under service. Okay. How to settle this account? How to clear this account? Cuba tengok nombor 2, formula dia. Balance on service, how to get it? Just total all the service item. Total sahaja. Alahai, campur je lah semua. And then dapatlah jawapannya. Tetapi, please make sure, I think all of you, please alert, because from my experience, your calculation is very good. Cumanya sometimes, saya faham kita manusia teralpa. Ataupun calculator salah calculator, jangan salahkan ownernya. Okay, apa yang salahnya? You nampak tak? This is negative sign. So if any figure involve negative sign, so make sure negative bila berjumpa dengan positif, apakah hukumnya? Idgham al-ghunnah ke ifak hakiki ke apa? Bila berjumpa dengan that's mean there's actually a simple changes, it will be negative. Janganlah main langgar aje. Right? So still the rules of thumb in the math is follow, is apply. So this is actually tak perlu saya nak mention about the positive negative number. You should know, right? Okay. So to get the service account, you just have to total up all the item. Jangan salah item. Okay. And then number 3, balance on good and service. Okay, these are normal which is calculations, normal formula. Kadang-kadang dia tak habis semua. Tengah-tengah dia tanya balance on good and service. Okay, tak apa, tak ada masalah. Balance on good and service, you have to plus good balance this account and with this account, good and service account. Just plus 2 lah because you already calculate this one, right? This one and this one, you already calculate that. So just combine and you will get the answer. But here, okay, kalau you salah kat sini ataupun you salah kat sini, harga-harganya lah. Balance on good service ni, you will get the correct answer or wrong answer? Tell me. If you give the wrong answer in the goods account or maybe in the service account, will you get the right answer for the balance on good and service?
No.
Okay. So kalau dekat sini dah salah, anak-anak ni dah salah, the sub account is already wrong. So how about the whole account? Balance on the current account yang besar ni, macam mana? Of course lah, insyaAllah salah. Kan? Ini yang saya kata domino effect. This is what you have to please be careful and pay more attention. Okay, if you are required to write ataupun to build up this BOP punya record ataupun structure, you must put what's actually the sub account, what's actually the item in a good position according to this. Okay. Right. So far sampai sini saya dah sampai balance on good and service. Can you follow me? Any question so far? Okay ke KO?
Okay, madam.
Okay.
Okay, madam.
Alhamdulillah. You all kan genius. Amin. Okay. Aduh. Right. Okay. Then we continue to the third sub account. Right. What is actually primary income? So, okay, primary income. This primary income got two, which is a compensations of employee and the investment income. Right. Compensation place actually whatever that employee like remittance of the workers. Kita punya, it's not kita like foreign worker give something to their family back, their wages and so on. That's actually included in the compensations of employee. Okay. So investment income. Okay, under investment income, there is actually examples of the item: direct investment income, portfolio investment income, other investment income. So how to get this account? Pun senang juga. Cuba tengok total all primary income item. Just total up. Total up all the item. Just please be careful with the negative sign, so you will get the answer. And the fourth account is actually secondary income, or sometimes we refer as a current transfer. And under current transfer, there is a workers' remittance, giving and donation, and foreign aids and the grants, and official assistance and pension. So this one for the current transfer ni, you have to understand this is actually what? Unilateral transfer. Okay, saya back kat sini. This is all the explanations of the sub account. You can refer that, alright. Okay, this is primary income. Okay, yang contoh 3 tu compensation cover apa? Normally wages, salary on other benefit in cash or in kind, local staff embassy, right? Investment income cover like receipts, payment of income associated, respectively with resident. And kalau direct, which is there is income on equity. This is actually the name of the item tau. But so far tak keluar lagi. Yang keluar cuma nama dia je. So please don't worry about that. Okay, as long as you tahu that's actually what's actually the sub account and what's actually the major sub account in that. That's enough. Okay, right. So here ni yang saya pentingkan sekali, which is the current transfer ataupun secondary income. So this one, current transfer, this is actually the unilateral transfer with nothing received in return. Sehala, pembayaran sehala. Okay, apa maksudnya? So example includes workers remittance, give and donations, foreign aid, grants, official expansion. An example like pension. For example, if I pensions in one day, so do I have to pay my pension back? One day bila saya ada pension, saya kena bayar balik tak segala pension saya tu? Perlu ke tidak?
Tak perlu.
Tak perlu kan, sebab itu hak saya kan. So this is one way payment, which mean whatever the payment made, that payment will not receive in return. Dia takkan datang balik, dia takkan dapat tak bayar balik. So this is what we call the unilateral transfer. But this current transfer ni, dia ada maksud dia. Apa dia? If negative value of the current transfer indicate that there are more unilateral cash outflow. If the figures of this current transfer, if negative, that means more unilateral cash outflow, right? Than unilateral cash inflow, and vice versa. Maknanya kalau negatif, that means there's so many money flowing out. Maknanya kita bayar banyak ke orang. Bayar dalam bentuk apa? Inilah contoh-contoh dia. Mungkin pekerja asing terlalu ramai di dalam Malaysia, mereka bayar berikan duit kepada keluarga mereka di kampung masing-masing. So that's actually have a huge numbers of the payment ataupun transfer. But that's a unilateral, one way only. Alright, so tak dapat balik betul. Dia bayar-bayar macam tu lah, settle. That's it. Okay, we will not get receive in return. So this is a unilateral, right? More money outflow if a negative, right? Okay, and okay, back to this, of course, to get the balance on the current account, it is actually the sums of the balance on goods and service, income, and the current transfer. Okay, back balik to this, right? So this is the current transfer yang item tadi saya tunjukkan. So balance on the secondary income ataupun current transfer saja, that's mean you have to plus total of the secondary income or current transfer. This one lah. Okay, it depends on the question. If the question ends with the calculation for this secondary income saja, just take this one lah. Alright. Okay, and then lastly, of course, for each major account, there is actually balance on the current account. So for the balance on the current account, what's the formula? Good plus service plus primary plus secondary or the current transfer. So that's mean you have to plus all these four sub account, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and you will get the balance of the current account in overall. But again, I remind you, if once of the sub account you calculate it wrong, so it will affect everything. Okay, so definitely you will give the wrong balance on the current account. Okay, tu tak best. Okay, hopefully not. Alright. Okay, so we settle now for the current account. Any question? Can you follow me? Boleh so far?
Boleh, Madam.
Boleh. Yeah, good. I know you. Okay, so then we go to the second major account, which is apa? Financial account. If you refer to any reference book, kalau nowadays punya yang I think dalam 2016 and above the publication, normally they just state as a financial account only. So Liverpool 3 brand is actually just state as a financial account only. But actually previously before 2014, this is actually split in the capital and the financial. Cuma lately ni they just refer to the financials only. But even the financial is actually included with the capital. Include with the capital and the financial, of course. So to be easier, so I just split like this. So then you know which one is a capital, which one is actually financial. Right? Okay, under capital account, there's a two sub account only. Apa dia? Long term capital account and then short term capital account. And this is a two item under this sub account. Very rare to come out, sangat jarang. Paling-paling pun dia keluar pun long term, short term. Nama tajuk ni je. Very rare to come out with the item inside, but I give you. Hopefully kalau keluar, at least you know. Okay, alright. So under capital account, okay. But one thing you could look at sini, under capital account. So of course under each sub account, there is actually balance for the account. So balance on the long term capital, you just have to total all the long term item. This one, just plus these two, you akan dapat jawapan ini. Okay, but after that, nampak tak kat sini saya letak ni 5, 6, 7 ni, nombor 8 ni, basic balance. Yang saya letak dalam capital ni, this is actually major formula. Okay, major formula. Basic balance, okay, basic balance one of the major formula. Jarang tanya, dulu rajin tanya, but now agak jarang tanya, tetapi kod keluar, saya dah beritahu kat sini. Okay, right, basic balance, to get the basic balance, and this basic balance, the formula ataupun the position in the balance of payment ni is always under the balance on the long-term capital. After we settle this first sub account under capital, the positions of the basic balance is always under balance on the long-term capital. Position di sini beginilah. Okay, so how to get the basic balance? Nampak tak current account yang besar ni, current account plus with the long-term balance. Right? Ini long-term kat atas ni. Current plus long term. That's why basic balance is just follow after that. Sebab tu di tengah-tengah kat sini. Okay, current plus long term. Masya Allah, bayangkanlah kalau current ni salah kira kan. Lepas tu campur pula dengan long term. Salah basic balance. Nampak tak domino effects and the domino effect if you calculate wrong. Okay, I'm so worried about that. Okay, no worry. Starting next week, kita latih tu for all the calculation. No worry, insyaAllah. Yang penting you must put your effort, right? Okay, so this is basic balance. Okay, after that sub account under this capital account, there's a short term and short term capital account. There's a private capital inflow and the outflow. Same goes for this sub account. How to get this? Just total all the short term item, then you get an answer. And there is a balance on the capital account. So of course, the balance of capital account we have to plus all the sub account under this capital, which is long term plus dengan short term. So dapatlah yang ni. Okay, cumanya under capital account ni tiba-tiba tertengah ni aja ada satu formula which is basic balance. Alright. Okay, boleh capital account? So far?
Boleh.
Boleh.
Okay. Then we go to the financial account. Okay, financial account, there is actually three sub-account under financial account. Direct investment, portfolio investment, and then other investment. What's actually the difference between this direct, portfolio, other investment? You always can refer to my notes. Okay, which is under the financial account. Example for the direct investment, this is actually defines a company from one country making a physical investment. If physical, that's where kita nampak benda tu, alright, into a building, a factory, or in another country. Example, contohnya apa? Honda invest. Honda is actually Japan, right? So Japan invest to Malaysia, okay, and they're actually building up. They actually start the factory in Malaysia, but they always have kat Melaka ada satu kan, kilang. That's example. That's example the physical investment, which is we can see. An example like you, if you have a business, you have the factory, so you want to open another branch of your business. So you buka kat mana? Let's say you open ataupun you invest dekat UK lah katakan. Who knows? I mean kan, one day. So you buka dekat UK, you buka another factory at UK. So that's a physical investment. Benda yang nampak. Alright, that's a physical. This is what we call a direct investment. And then see the direct investment in the buildings, some machinery and equipment, something that we can see, we can hold. This is actually visible, right? Physical, right? We can see the physical thing. Okay, that's a direct investment. And of course, under this, there is a abroad trade investment and so on. This is all like tak pernah keluar sebenarnya, but I just put here. Who knows kan? Kut lah kan, kita keluar. Okay. Alright, portfolio investment. For the portfolio investment, okay, so this actually refer to what? So just now physical, something that we can see. But for portfolio, which is we can't see, we can hold. Tak nampak. But the good thing is actually we not intervened in the management of the foreign operation. So this is something like macam if you buy the foreign stock, bonds or other financial asset, whatever the financial paper that you buy, you just buy. Yes, of course you buy the share. That means you are part of the shareholder kan. But you not intervene in their management. Katakan you beli saham Nestle. You beli saham Nestle, tak kira berapa unit you beli pun, tetapi you tidak campur tangan di dalam pentadbiran dan pengurusan Nestle. Itu maksudnya portfolio investment. You just buy the share. You just buy something that refer to the portfolio that's regarding to that kata big company, okay, share and so on. Right? So of course this is covered transaction. So equity securities and debt security. Equity and the debt security like bonds and notes. Asal tempat saya. So can we take 5 minutes, okay? After azan nanti we continue. Boleh? Okay?
Okay, madam.
Okay, 5 minutes ya. Okey, Hazan tempat saya dah habis. Tapi tak habis lagi 5 minit. Okey ke? Continue. Are you there?
Okay, madam.
Boleh? Ah, itulah semua ada Make sure. Kan suruh
Ada,
on
madam.
on kamera kan habis semua line berterabur. Kan? So far because I'm in the campus, insyaAllah lah stable lah line kan. But you all I tak tahulah kat rumah kan, line okay tak okay? Okay kan? Tapi faham, saya faham if you on the camera nanti is actually very kata take the data so high kan. It's okay. Right. Okay, kita continue insyaAllah. Right, so again we call balik tadi apa dia, direct investment mean investment in the forms of physical, that's something that we can see, we can see the physically what we buy the building machine, this is whatever actually relate to the production, so that will be the investment, right, direct investment. Second, which is portfolio investment, is actually investment without we actually intervene in the management. Kita tak campur dalam pengurusan company tu. We just buy the something that relate to the company, which is example like share, bond and so on, which is more in the equity, security and the debt. Okay, that's a portfolio investment. And asset, asset like this lah, and like equity security, debt security. Okay, and other investment which is a cover short and a long-term trade credit, loans including use of the fund credit, loan from the fund, and the loans associated with the financial lease, currency deposit, saving and term deposit, savings and loan and so on. Alright, okay, this one ni even though you nampak macam banyak macam ni kan, but seriously tak ada satu pun pernah keluar lagi. Okay, that's why I'm not so kata so stressed about this. Okay, whatever that I give, I already simplify here in the BOP in my handout. This is always come out, dan itu pun ada yang jarang keluar. Okay, so not so worry in that. If you want to know, then we will discuss the past question. Then baru you nampak macam mana. But as orang kata, as the one that teach you, I always want to give you more. Okay, so far bila tengok pecahan-pecahan macam ni, if you want to know more, kau nak tahu lebih lagi, okay, nanti you refer dekat sini. I will give the link. Okay, mana dia? Okay, this one, the DSB, IMF or HA. Because why? All the item, all the actually, kata the categorize, whatever the category, the sub account in here is actually coming from the IMF. IMF give the guideline. So all the countries have to follow to be standardized for the BOP. Sebab BOP ni between two country, bukan within the country. So imagine that we are not have a trade with the one country only. We have trade with all the country. Accept apa? Kecuali negara apa?
Israel.
Pandai sekali. Israel. Nasib tak ada yang sebut Afrika. Kan, itu Masya Allah masuk tadika balik tu kan. Okay, yes, except for the Israel. We not have any trade with the Israel. Okay, but seriously, if you refer to this is actually quite thick manual book that actually have all the categories for each sub-account ni. You bayangkan satu sub-account ni dia actually ada I think like 50 to 100 categorized lagi. Okay, but there is no need to know because why you as just diploma level and so far dalam soalan pun tak pernah keluar. Yang ambil pun hanya daripada depan je, no worry. Okay, insyaAllah, no worry, trust me. Okay, insyaAllah. Okay, so that's financial, okay, portfolio. Alright, whatever I already simplify here, what I think that is actually close enough ataupun full enough for you to know. Okay, so whatever that you refer here pun enough, I think. No worry. Okay, then that's a financial account, direct investment, portfolio investment, and then other investment. Okay, so of course for each sub-account ni you tengok ada balance on direct investment, just total up all these direct investment, and for the portfolio pun sama, just total up so the item you will get the answer, and for the other investment pun sama, nampak the calculation which is total all the other investment balance, and after that the balance on the financial account, financial, that's mean you just refer to these three only, and then balance on the financial and the capital. So you have to combine capital and the financial. So of course plus capitals and financial. Okay, right. Before I continue. So nampak tak sub account ni nama dia direct investment and then portfolio investment and then this is other investment. Alright, what is actually the difference between this sub account and between this one? Ni. Apa bezanya? Can you see the difference? This one and this one. Ada sama tapi tak serupa. Who can detect? Who have the sharp eye? Kalau you can tell me, that's mean you very sharp and you very focused. Apa dia? Habaq mai. Come on. Open your eye. Open your heart. Cepatlah saya tunggu ni. Penantian satu penyiasaan. Tak boleh tunggu lama-lama. Tengok betul nama dia. And this one. What's actually make the difference? If you have this all information, how are you going to position all this item? Nak letak dekat mana? Atas ke bawah? Hak mana? Hak atas? Hak mana? Hak bawah ni? Tengok Atikah dah left ni. I think because of the line. Okay, tak apa. Nanti catch up. At least I dah record this meeting kan. And then you can see during the revision. Cepatlah. Ya Allah, 47 orang tak kelas, seorang pun tak nampak. Nak marah lah ni. Come on. What's the difference? You can see the difference actually.
Satu tu tulis income.
Satu tu yang mana?
Yang atas tu dia ada income, yang bawah tu tak ada, dia tak tulis.
Lega, ada juga yang nampak. Yang lain? The others? Can you see that? Can you see that?
Ada.
Nampak madam. Nampak.
Okay. As long as if you can see income at the ends of the term, ada nampak income at the ends of the term, confirm that is actually under the investment income, which is under this primary income. Okay, but without the income, it's just direct investment, portfolio investment, other investment. Confirm this is under financial. Please, I beg you, please don't misunderstood and misconcept about this. Penat nak marking salah. Kesian sebab for me this is actually simple je. As I said just now, remember, setting mind is quite important. Just think this, just simple. Okay, this is, I just can memorize this. Don't take it this so hard. Okay, boleh, insyaAllah. Okay, bagus. That's actually the difference. Good. Okay, after that, okay, cuba tengok ni under financial account, there's a 1, 2, 3, right? And after all this balance for each account ni, and there is one item, apa dia, error and omission. Apa benda ni? Error and omission. What is this? Okay, back to this note. Errors and omission. This is actually also known as a balancing item, as information gathered may not be accurate. Right? So especially the import exports, obviously because of these figure are just estimate. Okay, maksudnya apa? In the balance of payment itself, of course, there's actually maybe some plus minus the number. So how to balance all the figure? So that's why this item exists. Okay, and these are the purpose, the existence of this item, error and omission. Right? So for this term ni, for this item ni, to include in the balance of payment, if you have to build up your own balance of payment, if the question asks you, kalau ada you letak, if there is information for this omission, you just put there. Tapi jangan sebarang letak. Sebab tu I buat this kata handout to really stress for this positions of all the sub account and item. Tengok ni kat mana area emission, kat mana position dia, kedudukannya kat mana, always under balance on the capital and financial account. Selepas item ni barulah boleh letak area emission. Tak boleh letak suka hati kat mana-mana. No. This is the positions for the area and omission. Kedudukan dekat mana? Only under balance on capital and financial account. So after this second major account. Alright. So dia tak ada apa-apa, dia tak ada formula, but the position only. Alright. Ada letak, tak ada is okay. Never mind, just ignore. Okay. And after that, there's another measure. These are the heart of the balance of payment. Inilah jantung hati balance of payment. Apa dia ni? These are the overall balance. Because the status of the balance of payment will depend to this calculation, to this formula. Apa dia? So overall balance equal to the current plus financial and capital plus error and omission. Imagine that kalau current salah kira. Allah. Ataupun financial and capital salah kira. Can you get the overall balance correct? Susah kan? Susah nak dapat correct. If you get it wrong. If you calculate it wrong. So please be careful. Okay, overall balance is actually the key in the balance of payment, the status, to indicate the status. So if this figure are positive, if the figures are positive, that's mean what? That's mean this status of the balance of payment refer ataupun indicate as a surplus. Right? Kalau positive maknanya surplus. But if the figure is actually negative, that's mean deficit. Okay, so when is this balance? Bila dia kosong. So kalau dapat figure kat sini kosong, so that will be balance. Okay, that's actually the status of the overall balance. See how important of this calculation. Okay. Here, overall balance is actually the sums of the balance for the current account, financials, and error and omission. Okay, positive mean what? Surplus, and for the balance of payment for that year. And for the deficit, that's mean if negative, if the negative value, that's mean deficit. Deficit for the balance of payment in that particular year. Deficit bermaksud money flowing out a lot or greater than the money flowing in. But if the surplus, that's mean money flowing in greater than the money flowing out. Okay. And the last account, which is the reserve asset. Okay, ataupun the last kali yang third account tu, the official reserve asset or international reserve asset. Alright. So this is actually account shows what? Dia tunjukkan apa ni? This is actually highly liquid financial asset held by the central bank. Of course, who manage all this balance payment? This is actually under the central bank. Okay, which are readily available for the financings, the balance of the payment imbalance, or to be used as a tool in carrying out agency policy. Maknanya apa? For this reserve asset ni, all the item is actually, what's the function? The function is actually to help if the BOP is imbalance. Dia akan tolong kalau BOP ni yang berada dalam keadaan tidak seimbang, which is disequilibrium. So these are the functions of the reserve asset. So sebab dia adalah orang kata menolong, membantu, maknanya dia akan apa? Dia akan kontra balik orang kata the figure, so that at the end this BOP zero. Remember in the introduction I mentioned this BOP is always have to be zero. Macam mana pun dia kena jadi zero. Even though it's actually in imbalance situation. Even though deficit with surplus, right, have to be zero last kali at the end nanti. Alright, so these are the functions of the reserve asset. So to match back for this figure, so this reserve asset will have different signs of the number. Okay, so what's actually the examples of the asset that we have? Malaysia ni ada banyak harta. Kita simpan harta kita dalam bentuk apa? Okay, you can see example like the currency reserve, monetary gold, special driving right, okay, reserve position at the IMF, and other reserve asset such as bank deposit, okay, with the non-resident banks as well as the government and other security issued by non-resident. So kita ada simpan kita punya asset but in these types of the form. Right? So what's actually yung kata the figures, the figure means, positive value of the reserve asset shows that asset decrease in that particular year. Di mana where BOP deficit by the same amount. Nampak tak? Dia positif. Positif. Figurnya positif. But the meanings of the positive value is different. Positive normally what? Positive mean normally increase. Tak. For this official reserve asset ni dia kontra. Sebab apa? Sebab dia nak kontra balik dengan figure of the overall balance. Okay. So always, it's always like macam opposite number. Opposite sign. It's not opposite number. It's the same number but opposite sign. Okay. So if positive, that means this asset is actually decreased. And decrease mean the BOP is deficit. But if this figure of this reserve asset got negative value, means that the asset is actually increased. Asset increase means that the BOP is actually surplus. Nampak macam pening kat situ kan? Tak apa, tengok kat sini. Cuba tengok ni. Okay, overall balance. So this is the reserve asset. These are all the items under the reserve asset. Can you see here? Alright, so total dia semua sekali nampak tak the balance of the reserve asset? 96961. Sama tak dengan dekat sini figurnya? Is it same?
Sama.
Sama.
Apa yang berbeza?
Negatif, positif.
Yeah, okay. So this is another tips for you. Let's say you have to calculate and build up this orang kata BOP alone. Kadang-kadang soalan ni pun diminta you buat satu structure macam ni begini sampai habis lengkap satu BOP. Dulu-dulu rajin soalan keluar macam ni. So nak tahu sama ada pengiraan you betul atau tidak, this is the tip, which is after you settle all the major account, these two major account, the current account, the financial capital account, and once you calculate for the reserve asset ni, you akan dapat figure yang sama. Kalau you dapat figure yang sama macam ni 96961, sama figurenya dengan overall balance, that's mean your figure, your calculation from head to toe is correct. Alhamdulillah. That one tips. Okay. Tapi kalau you dapat figure tu salah, yang ni mungkin tak sama ataupun yang ini berbeza, something wrong somewhere. Right? Something wrong somewhere tu yang nak kena check one by one tu. Okay. And another thing is, okay, once you get the same figure, again, one thing is actually the symbol, nampak, symbol is a different. Okay, this is positive, this is always negative. But even though this is a negative, but the meaning is always in line with this balance of payment. Right? So, ini nampak tak 96961 positif kan? Positive means surplus. Surplus mean what? Money flowing into our country is greater. So, kalau duit masuk banyak dalam negara, kita kaya tak? Logiknya, kaya ke tidak?
Kaya.
Bertambah tak aset?
Tambah.
Ya, sebab tu even though the figure is negative, but the meaning is our asset is actually increase. Untuk yang macam ni, you tengok ni, right, now 9691 kan, this is actually mean positive, mean surplus. Surplus means what? The asset is actually increased, but our asset is negative 991. Yes, it's negative, but the meaning is actually increase. The asset is increased. The meaning is always in line, must be in line with the here overall balance. Right? So kalau saya letak kat sini negatif, let's say this is negative 96961, so ini jadi
Positif.
ya, dan positif maksudnya apa? Asset will be
Decrease.
good. Okay, dia begitu, dia terbalik sedikit. Alright, okay, kenapa? This is actually to achieve the purpose, which is BOP must always have to be zero. Dia kena jadi zero at the end. Sebab tu dia kena kita have the figure which is kata mesh balik dengan this figure of balance. Okay, alright. So Alhamdulillah, we settle for this BOP structure so far. Any question? You dah lepas dah critical phase ni. Any questions so far? Boleh follow? Ada part yang mana you rasa macam sangkut lah kat sini? Any part? If you not, tell me, I don't know. If you tell me, I try my best to help you. But you kena reveal, you kena beritahu, tidak, saya tidak tahu. So far okay tak? BOP ni dengan part this three major account ni with all this structure and the sub account. Okay, my tips lah, if we want to remember all this structure in order with this position correctly, okay, cuba study betul-betul, hafal, and then try to rewrite back, tulis balik in orang kata in the other papers, tulis dalam kertas kosong, try, tak perlulah hafal figure ni, tak payahlah, just only this one. Okay, the measure account with the sub account. Tulis balik banyak kali. At the end sama tak positionnya macam ni. Sampai you dapat get, oh okay, this is same like the handout. So alhamdulillah, that's when you get, you conquer the topic. So far okay?
Okay, madam.
Okay, madam.
Alhamdulillah. Orang kata diam tanda tahu. So kalau dah ada respon, alhamdulillah. Okay, right. So we continue. So this one you can see later, inshallah. Right. This is only the calculations, main calculation, which is the same thing that I already explained and mentioned in the handout. Okay, same thing. Okay, right. This is effect. Okay, for this BOP, we will face the problems if the BOP is imbalanced. Imbalance actually got two status, apa dia? The deficits and the surplus. But when the BOP is actually not balanced, kalau surplus ni, but if surplus, economic effect dia sebenarnya kita suka, which one? Give more favorable conditions for a country in the short run. So of course, who don't want to have the surplus balance of payment? Surplus means that our export are greater than our import. The money flowing into our country is greater than money flowing out. But okay, in economic, this is unique. The situation is economic. For the thing that which is good and give benefit to the economy, we can't have that situation in a long term. ini uniknya ekonomi ni. Contoh kalau macam ni surplus, kenapa pula tak boleh lama-lama? Sebab if we have these situations, if this situation in Malaysia, for example, for the Malaysia, if we have facing with the surplus balance of payment, katakan untuk 5 consecutive year, 5 tahun berturut-turut Malaysia have the surplus balance of payment, shows that what? Our export is very in the good position, right? Very in the good condition, we have very good return, betul tak? Kan, kita export banyak sehingga kan setiap tahun we can export our good and service, which is we at the end the returns in the surplus. Alright, bagus tak untuk ekonomi? Memang bagus. Which is apa? Wow, this is actually will increase and will rise up our currency, our ringgit Malaysia. Tetapi tak bagusnya dari segi ancaman luar, especially in terms of the monetary market. Okay, and this is what happened to the Malaysia in 97, 98, the mid 97, 98. If you remember or if you know, I don't know whether you realize or not, that's what's we call the financial crisis. 97, 98. That financial crisis actually, if you read the analysis, actually causes by the George Soros. George Soros is actually the currency trader. So do we can blame George Soros alone? Cannot. Tak boleh salahkan dia. It's actually his job. Itulah kerja dia. Kerja dia sebagai apa? Pedagang mata wang. Currency trader. Pedagang mata wang ni apa kerjanya? Kerjanya beli mata wang dan jual mata wang untuk dia punya profit. Right? And George Soros is actually not normal or not ordinary currency trader. It's actually the world currency trader. So imagine that 97, 98, our level at that time, so Malaysia at that time, if I'm not mistaken, 97 tu, kita punya currency tu, RM2 dah mencapai pertukaran RM2.8, tak salah saya, RM2.8 compared to $1. Imagine that, RM2.8, $1. Wow. Saya masa tu memang dah berangan dah. RM1 Malaysia dengan $1. Imagine that. RM1 Malaysia equal to the $1. So if that happen, confirm. Breakfast dekat mana? Breakfast kat Malaysia. Lunch kat mana? London. And then dinner kat mana? Amsterdam. Cik, wah. Okay, contoh. Okay. Tapi itulah dia. At that times, Malaysia very lack of the expertise in terms of to control the money market. So at that time, our pasar saham ni, okay, our bursa ni, we don't have a control, and in fact our central bank pun tak control. We not control this buy and purchase, okay, buy and sell of this currency. So we just let the other trader buy our ringgit Malaysia in a bulk. Okay, this is what the Joshorus do. So selepas dia beli banyak-banyak, bila dia beli tu, that masa tu memang our ringgit Malaysia dah memang wow, naik gila. Bila currency trader beli banyak currency kita, right? Currency kita maknanya have high demand. So this is will help to rise up our value of the currency. Tetapi as I say, this is actually the currency trader. Itu kerja dia. Kerja dia adalah membeli dan menjual mata wang. Itu untuk profit dia. So what that Joshua tu dijual. Masuk tekan naik sangat, so dijual our ringgit Malaysia, which is in his purchase in about the one times of the purchase, one times of the sale. So it causes our ringgit Malaysia decrease. Starting from that terus is quite difficult for us to climb back, especially plus with the pandemic kan. Lagi susah untuk melihat our currencies actually rise back. Then after that barulah kita apply the exchange rate the pack policy system. Masa tu I still remember our PM pack our ringgit Malaysia to be RM3.80, RM3.80 to the $1. Imagine that. Punyalah jatuh kan. So itulah dia tak bagusnya if we actually facing with the surplus of the balance of payment or anything which is an example high economic growth in the long term. We want that situation, but not in the long term. We maybe it can be enjoyed in the 1 to 2 years, and after that never mind, just deficit for a while, and after that surplus. Itu bagi saya, bila saya belajar ekonomi, itulah kata wow, ekonomi ni sangat fragile. Naik banyak sangat tak boleh, turun lagi tak boleh kan, turun dah kita dah bermasalah pula. But this is the unique and the beauty of the economy. That's why I love economy. Okay, so first is surplus. Okay, I already give what's actually the economics effects, right? And sedikit cerita tentang mid financial crisis. And if we are facing with the deficit, deficit that's apa? Money flowing out is greater, duit keluar banyak pula, bermakna apa? We actually export less and we import a lot. That's a problem. That's why it causes deficit. And of course, this is also because of the trade balance, the currency and the financials that cannot balance, which is in the negative situation. So what's the economic effect? So if we are facing with the deficit ni, apa masalahnya? What's the economic effect to us? Okay, first, of course, is to reduce the aggregate demands of goods and services. And that is actually a net outflow of money. Okay, incurred to suppress economic growth when there is a deficit, of course. Okay, this is first effect. And then put a downward pressure on the price of the domestic good. Okay, put a downward pressure on the price of domestic good, which is producer will try to reduce the domestic price so that they would be more competitive. Sebab apa? Sebab bila ekspor kita dah tidak ada demand, okay, dengan harga yang sedia ada, so we have to lower the price of the good, especially in the domestic, so then at least it can be sold. There is such a transaction. So menyebabkan lagi tekanan dah lah dekat ekspor, dah tak boleh buat apa dah. Okay, dalam Malaysia pula tak terjual. Itu masalah bila barang tak terjual ni. So put a downward pressure. Okay, so of course this will incur a loss to domestic producer and hard to survive, a loss to the producer. Okay, what else? Will increase the indebtedness. Yes, hutang lapuk. Bila kita tak terjual, kita akan banyak berhutang. Lama-lama dah berkumpul-kumpul lagi hutang lapuk. Deficit balance of money will force the government to borrow from the rest of the world. Itu you imagine between the country. Imagine that we apply loan from the Japan or from the US ke. Kita apply loan. Apply loan, that means we have to pay back in their currency. Look at to our currency now. How we going to pay back our debt in their currency? Tinggi tu, mana nak cakap. Kan, mana nak ambil duit, right? Okay, what else? It will deplete reserve, of course lah. If always we withdrawal from our asset, gradually, slowly, lama-lama our reserve will be finished, habis. Okay, and then so of course they will fall in the foreign investment. No there is no foreign investor will want to invest in Malaysia because of this situation. Shows that Malaysia is not in a good economic situation, not health economy. So they don't want to invest in Malaysia. They would rather to find the other country. Okay, so for the problems, this example you can see later. Okay, so what's the how actually to measure? You dah buat dah benda ni. Bagusnya you dah buat. Okay, so I just recall balik. Okay, remember the notes I asked you to do, you dah buat pun. I just want to remind you balik. So of course, to measure for any economic problem, we have to utilize all the economic policy, which is we have 3 economic policy, and will be monetary policy, fiscal policy, and the direct control policy. Okay, and under fiscal and monetary policy, we have to use both actually a contractionary and monetary policy and the fiscal policy. And under contractionary monetary policy, we normally use this popular tool, which is reducing money supply, raising interest rate, increase the in cash and the liquidity ratio, and selling bond in the open market. And what the purpose to do this? The purpose is actually to make the import of good expensive. Kita nak buatkan supaya harga barang import ni lebih mahal. We cannot say that to our people, do not buy imported good. Tak boleh. That's actually will worsen our international relationship. Imagine that at the same time we actually import the good from the US, but at the same time we announce to our people, don't buy US good because the US good is actually expensive. What do you expect? What will happen between two countries? There will be a war. Okay, so tak boleh. But how to overcome? Okay, how to actually to attract the people? So slowly, inilah dia caranya under monetary policy. Okay, so then at the end nanti, right, and by doing so, those DR will increase, eventually aggregate demand will fall, especially for the imported good. Nak buat loan, nak to import is actually quite difficult. So no need to import anymore. Just focus to the local product. Okay, that's under contraction in policy. Fiscal policy, kalau fiscal ni we know, and this is actually more to the government tool by utilize the tax and the government expenditure. So of course under this contraction in fiscal policy, so the government will increase the tax for the imported good. Dah lah import, barang import harga dah mahal, tambah lagi duty import, tambah lagi tax, agak-agak sebenarnya harga kereta apa, whatever the car brand which is murah je kalau you beli kat sana. But if you bring to Malaysia, plus with the currency exchange, plus with the tax that implement, wow, like being the price, the cost will be double or sometimes triple. Okay, if we import to the Malaysia. So this will actually be demotivate to the buyer, especially our people. So they would don't buy all the imported thing and focus to whatever that we have in Malaysia. So this later on will help to balance back the deficit to be at least balanced. Right? So same goes for the direct control, which is nama pun direct, which is directly intervene to the problem. So we just can use like encouraging the export by using all the campaign, the advertising and so on. Maybe like macam in the packaging, belilah barangan buatan Malaysia and so on. Okay, discourage the import, same thing. So we're encouraging export, which is we have to apply secretly, suddenly by using the campaign, slowly campaign, silently campaign, and the advertisement. Okay, nak menaikkan supaya orang berminat hanya untuk beli barangan buatan Malaysia. Melanconglah dalam negara, daripada pergi ke luar negara. Apa-apa in Malaysia first. Malaysia first, after that barulah go to others. A trade agreement, we have a trade agreement with other country, exchange control, depreciation and so on. Okay, benda ni you dah buat dah, I know. You dah bagi pun, dah tunjuk pun pada saya kan. Alhamdulillah, good. Okay, just to remind you. So, by this, Alhamdulillah, we end the balance of payment. In terms of the concepts, in terms of the explanation, any problem? Petang dah ni, faham. Dah tepu dah. Okay tak okay?
Madam,
Yes.
tadi Madam kata untuk topik BOP ni ada setengah soalan tu a bit tricky. Macam mana tu Madam?
Bit tricky in terms of yang tadi yang saya terangkan this one. I takut you all tak faham kenapa kena ini negatif, kenapa figurnya kena sama, kenapa kena negatif. The tip is BOP must always be zero. So the figure here must be offset with this figure. Sebab apa? Whatever figure which is kenapa kena offset, because this is show imbalance. Surplus show imbalance, deficit show imbalance. So nak offset dia, nak bagi zero, so figure kat sini figure yang sama tetapi kena negatif. Tetapi katakan dia deficit kat sini. Yang mana nak cover, inilah juga yang cover. I cuma risau kalau tak faham kenapa figurnya kena sama, kenapa simbolnya kena berbeza. Sebab kalau you tak faham, the tip is this BOP must be always zero, and the figure from the reserve asset must be or can be offset with the overall balance figure. Okay, trickynya kat situlah in terms of the structure. In terms of the question, kalau soalan tu normally like interpretation, ini tahun 2014 tak salah saya, 2014 ke 15 punya soalan. Okay, contoh dia bagi macam ni. 2004, saya tak ingatlah soalan tu berapa, but this is one of the example of the funny question. Okay, look at to this. Dia dah bagi saya siap macam ni tau. Dia dah kira dah. It's already calculate there. You just have to study this short BOP. Nampak dia bagi simple je kan, simple je macam ni. And then you have to answer the question. Right? Okay, cuba tengok soalan ni. What is the current transfer and what does the figure negative 14 indicate? So, current transfer berapa? 14,633. So far tadi what I mentioned, what I explained. Current transfer means what? The unilateral transfer. Okay, so one-way transfer. If negative, that's mean apa? There is a greater money flowing outflow. Alright, so tricky-nya, boleh ke you interpret kat sini? In order to interpret, that means you have to understand what's actually the meaning of the current account, instead of you just remember and understand the formula. Formula dah lah kena faham, kena ingat, kena tahu kira. Tapi you faham tak apa maksud itu current transfer? Apa maksud negatif itu? Value to negative apa maksudnya? Kat situlah maksud saya dia deep lagi. You have to go deep lagi another level. Not just know how to calculate, not just I know the formula, I remember the formula, but that's not enough. So macam ni you kena interpret. You kena go for another level. Tricky lah kat situ bagi saya kan, sikit lah insyaAllah. Right, kalau macam differentiates between the direct investment and the portfolio investment, alah, senang je. Direct investment, as you know, which is apa? Physical. Which is portfolio, this is not physical, but we not intervene in the management of that company that we buy the share or equity kan. So you just can give, but can you answer if you not understand what's actually the meanings for each item and each account in this BOP? Kan? How is the overall balance calculated? So how? What's the formula? Tell me, who knows? Cepat. Cepat. How is the overall balance calculated? What's the formula? Ada 3 je. Saya ingat ni. Apa cepat?
Current current account plus
Ah,
financial and capital account
hmm?
plus error and omission.
Yes. Okay. Soalan ni tanya how. How? Dia tanya tak? Diminta tak suruh you kira?
Tak.
Tak. But seingat saya kan, masa saya marking yang ni, ramai now yang bagi kira-kira. Dia tak beritahu pun how. How this going to be kira. Habis mix. Nampak tak? So the trick is there, right? So please understand the question. Not necessarily which is if you answer that's it. No, you must answer what's actually created as you, right? So the answer must be directly to what the question as you lah kan. Contoh dia tanya how, so you have to explain how to get the over balance, which is once we plus it, but what's actually the account involved in order to get the over balance. Dia tak minta pun kira-kira tu kan. So trickynya kat situ lah. So salah tak kalau you bagi just calculation? So far kalau makannya 2, at least I think I just bagi half lah. Sebab apa? Sebab jawapan itu tidak mencapai maksud yang diminta. Okay. Interpret the calculated value of the overbalance. Right. So ini pun saya risau soalan begini. Boleh ke you jawab? Of course, I always husnuzon to my student. Tak pernah doubt you. Saya sentiasa percaya my student always can answer whatever the question. I really want to see all of you score. Tak apalah, biarlah semua dapat A. Tak apalah saya akan tulis surat tunjuk sebab. Kenapa student saya semua dapat A? Saya tipu ke? Tak kan. But this is actually your effort. You give your effort, you deserve that. You memang layak dapat A, mestilah dapat A. Kenapa saya nak turunkan? Kan? So kalau you layak dapat itulah rezeki you. Siapa saya nak to deny you punya rezeki? Kan? I ni orang tengah je. Alright, no worry. I never ever to decrease ataupun reduce my marks of my student. Biasanya I always help lah. Kalau nak pass tu, kau boleh janganlah jauh sangat failnya. Kan? Okay, kalau you dapat, ya Allah, kalau 30%, how I'm going to help you? Kalau you dapat 49.9, of course I will help you, insyaAllah. But normally I will give you the extra task kan. The extra task I already give you tu, that will help you lah. Okay, macam ni. Inilah contoh tricky yang saya kata. Tak tricky sangat. Boleh lah, kan? What are the reserve asset and what happened to the amount of this asset? Nampak tak? Reserve asset. Negative 83, 1,061. Faham tak? How to answer this one? Ni reserve asset negative ni. But the overbalance is positive. Shows what? The reserve asset is? The asset is what? The asset is what? Increase or decrease?
Increase.
Kenapa increase?
Sebab negatif.
Sebab negatif. Dia kena in line with the overbalance. Because here, nampak tak overbalance ni? Overbalance ni is actually the BOP status. Maknanya apa? The BOP is a
Surplus.
Yes. Surplus mean what? Money flowing into the country. Greater. Duit masuk banyak. Hari ni cakap pasal duit je kan. Duit masuk banyak. So sebab tu asset increase. So you nampak tak? A, B, C, D, E ni ada tak? Kira-kira soalannya kena kira tak? Ada tak kira-kira?
Tak perlu.
Langsung tak ada. You just have to kata understand this BOP and then give that. But so far lah my experience kan, dia student ni mungkin dia dah biasa for this type of question. Kalau dalam part kalau now dulu ini part B sebab ada 3 objektif, subjektif and essay kan. But kali ni dah tak ada objektif, hanya ada part A dengan B lah. A is actually for the subjective, for the calculation, and B is the essay. I think maybe because your mentality, ingat asalkan subjektif, asalkan calculation part, dah nama calculation, calculate lah. Tapi soalan ni tak ada kira-kira. Okay. So for this past year question kan, masa tu saya ingat lagi, students very confused. Sebab dia dah biasa soalan kira, kena ada kira, kenapa tak ada kira-kira? Kenapa kena jawab macam essay ni? So ada yang buat extra effort, which is they give both. They give, which is orang kata the explanation answer and of course the calculation answer. Kesian juga saya tengok macam ni, kenapa you are consuming your time. You boleh guna masa yang you nak jawab extra tu untuk benda lain, which is essay ke yang lebih lagi, yang kata lebih lagi have to need a more explanation. Tetapi sebabkan dia agak confused soalan begini, kena kira ke kena jawab, kena kira kena jawab, nak bagi macam mana ni? Okay, ini yang dia kata the tricky, what I mean the tricky starting like macam ni. So hopefully after we actually discuss so many question nanti, insyaAllah you be familiar. Satu je keyword dia, insyaAllah. Practice make you perfect. Always answer. And for you guys, there is no reference book ataupun apa, buku latihan, exercise book that you can find from the market. Economic book ni, ya Allah, melimpah ruah, spill over dekat market tu. But the problem is the syllabus, only the syllabus. So the syllabus is different. Because why? Each university have a different syllabus. Even though we just can buy any reference book, but the syllabus is different to UiTM syllabus. That's why buku yang kita ada itu, kebetulan pula buku tu dibuat oleh RP sendiri, the resource person, and by of course all my colleagues, by all the my curriculum lecturer. So at least we can blend, they can blend the textbook to the UiTM syllabus. Sebab itulah buku tu diguna pakai sebagai textbook. Tetapi untuk latih to be, apa choice yang you ada? Hanyalah apa dia? Mana dapat soalan latih to be?
Past year.
Past year je lah. Suka tak suka, past year, only past year. So that you can familiar with all the question. Kalau lah ada dekat pasaran tu, dekat badan cemerlang, kaki cemerlang, tangan cemerlang ke, buku latihan, kan? Buku latihan ekonomi. Kalau lah dalam tu boleh ada je berlambak sebenarnya. If you see like untuk STPM, untuk SPM, so of course there's a lot. But sama tak dengan syllabus kita. Itu je problemnya. Tak sama dengan syllabus kita. So that's why the closest the reference to us is actually this one, past year. You all okay ke lagi ni? Kalau okay, saya nak tunjuk satu je contoh. Satu je contoh. Saya tunjuk aja. Alright. I know you dah penat, tapi at least saya tunjuk je. Boleh?
Boleh, madam.
Okay. So December 2019, ingat untuk this one, it's always alternate with the international trade kan. Kejap international trade, kejap BOP. So untuk December ni BOP. So kira lah December BOP. Lepas December 2019. Tahun 2020 dia keluar sekali aja setahun. So 2019 dah keluar BOP, 2020 keluar international trade. So kalau 2021 keluar agak lah saya predict je. Tak keluar, kan tak keluar kan marah saya pula. Agak lah, insyaAllah buku keluar. Okay, by this time bila buka je final year, patutnya you tengok je, hari ni soalan chapter 2 dah tahu dah. Okay, this is actually for chapter 3, alright, so this is actually for chapter 4. Suppose right now you tengok je soalan, you dah tahu dah ini daripada chapter mana. Kalau sampai lah ni you tengok soalan you tak tahu ini daripada chapter mana, habis. I said you actually in a very critical situation. That's when you are not conquer your syllabus. Conquer the syllabus, what I mean, sebut je term 1, you dah tahu dah berapa chapter ada dalam term 1. Chapter mana yang you kena fokus. And then which chapter that have the calculation. Which chapter that just have the explanation that you have to remember. Right, tak ada calculation. And then which chapter which is what have this type of the question. You dah kena patutnya at that level. This time. Tak sampai lagi level tu siap. Tak siap lah. You kena lah siapkan diri you. Okay, right. So look at this. for the December 2019. Okay, contoh ni ada example of the questions for the BOP. Cuba tengok kat sini. Dia tak bagi you structure balance of payment, right? Tapi dia bagi apa? Dia bagi item di dalam dia. Nampak merchandise export, merchandise import, right? And then these are the question. The balance of trade. Nampak tak? This term dia guna per trade. Tapi dalamnya item dia guna merchandise. See the tricky. So trickynya ialah you have to be familiar with all the concepts of all the term. No what? No argue. No compromise. Tak boleh nak tolak ansur lagi dah. No tolerate, tak boleh. You have to understand all the concept. You have to be familiar of this. Okay. So bila you dapat soalan, what you should do? In the first place, okay, bertenang, tarik nafas. Tarik nafas, relax. Soalan BOP rupanya. Monolog lah dalam hati. Jangan kuat monolog dalam hati. Soalan BOP rupanya. Okay, after that, okay, for this question, cuba tengok. What you should do? You have to label. Okay, label in this balance of payment, I really advise you to label dua benda. Apa dia? Label sub account and then label major account. Satu item tu label sub account and then major account. Sub account first and then major account. Tetapi kalau item ni dah memang sah tulis sub account, nama tu adalah nama sub account, no need to label as a sub account more. So just label as a major account. Okay, saya bagi contoh. You can just use any abbreviations. Abbreviation tu kependekan kan, the shortest. You just can use whatever the choice you prefer, you convert. Because you nak jawab soalan. So you label to ikut apa yang you selesa. Okay, because the term is actually quite long. So it's up to you. You nak pendekkan dia macam mana pun terpulang. Okay, for example, merchandise export, merchandise ni kat mana yang we know? For the first sub account under current account, right? Which is that's a good account ataupun trade balance account ataupun apa merchandise account ataupun apa visible account. But in this question nampak tak balance of trade. So you letaklah nama trade account. You buatlah TA ke TA trade account dash CA. CA tu apa? C current account. Terpulang. It's up to you. I just give you the example. Right? So label that way supaya you tahu, oh, this is actually under what? Under which sub account, under which major account. Okay, so merchandise import, right? Trade account, trade TB pun boleh, TA pun boleh, as long as you know which sub account that you refer. Okay, and then CA, current account lagi kan. Service export, service import, sah. This is actually under what? Under service. So you just can write apa? Service dash CA. Service ataupun S saja. Takut tersalah faham S tu supply pula. Suka hati. SVC ke, SC ke, terpulang. Right? Service CA. Then, and then net investment income. This one agak-agak kat mana? Which is actually the sub account? Net investment income. Which sub account?
Primary income.
Ada ya nak mak. Yes, it's a primary income. Alright. So you buatlah PI ke whatever lah the term that you like. Okay. And of course this is still under current account. So CA. Okay. Net transfer. Dia bagi net transfer. But this one is actually refer to apa? After primary,
Secondary income.
secondary ataupun current transfer. Cantik disusun kat sini. Alhamdulillah lah dia memudahkan. Kalau dia bagi berterabur, You kena all out lah. Okay. So net transfer is actually according to the secondary income ataupun current transfer. Okay. So dash CA still correct account kan. Short term capital, official long term capitalized. Once there is capital, confirm this is under capital account. So just do because it's actually the name is actually refer to the account itself. So just letaklah capital account. Capital account. See tadi CA account nampak CP. CPA, capital account. Contoh, okay. Direct investment, other investment, portfolio investment. Sah-sah, this is actually a financial account. But these are the names of the sub-account. So no need to label as a sub-account, just label as a major account. And all of this is actually under financial account. So just label as a FA, financial account. Area emission, tak payah label, tak apa. Because this is balancing item. Can you see that? Alright. So make sure you really utilize ataupun you labels all the item, and you must really recognize and categorize each item ni belong to which sub account, belong to which major account. Okay. Contoh, the balance of trade. How to calculate the balance of trade? So we know, you already label, which is there's a merchandise. So this are referred to the trade balance. So you buat kat sini jawapannya balance of trade ataupun trade balance account equal to here, write the formula first. The formula apa? Export minus import. So apa dia? What's the figure? Here 188 ni minus dengan 175,0. So dia bagi ada answer. Okay. Jawab tak okay. Dalam soalan ni ada tak diminta you kena create balance of payment structure? Perlu tak? Perlu tak? Kalau tak, jangan buat. Sebab soalan tak minta. Okay. So kalau soalan macam ni, maknanya you kena jawab directly to this question. So just jawab balance of trade equal to the formula export minus import, and then insert the figure, and the third line was the answer. That's it. Tak perlu buat all the structure. The structure I show to you actually to facilitate you, to show you whatever the item, that's actually the position in order. Itulah the position dia. Kalau soalan you have to do in that structure, that's you already have the example. Right? And then balance of the current account. Okay. Untuk soalan macam ni, current account, as you know, current account itself, there is a 4 sub account. Ada 4 sub account. Kan? So macam nak jawab? How actually the systematic way to answer? I lagi suka if you answer it separately. So that's mean first, you list out first the account. That's mean katakan first trade balance. You already calculate here, balance of trade. So perlu tak lagi tunjuk jalan kerja? At B, no need. Tak perlu. So you just take there. Balance of trade equal to apa? Blah blah blah. What's the answer? Second, after goods balance ataupun trade balance is service kan? So service ada here. Service, export and import. So how to get the total of the service account? So of course, sebab dia dah letak export and import, so you have to minus export minus import. Even though the total, the formula is actually apa? Just plus all the item kan? Tapi plus you kena tengok juga the status of the item. Like debit ataupun credit. Inilah dia. Export means what? Credit kan. So kalau import means what? Debit. Kan. So you kena settle kalau this one first. So service account equal to the service export minus service import. So what's the answer? Okay, tinggalkan kat situ. And then third sub account which is apa? Primary income. Primary income here is actually net investment income. Only satu je. Tak perlu nak kira. So just take there. And primary income is equal to the 15,000. That's it. And fourth, net transfer ataupun current transfer. So current transfer equal to the berapa? 50,600. That's it. Tak perlu kira. Sebab kat sini tak lebih itemnya. Satu aja. So you just state. So one by one you state. Yang kena kira-kira lah. Tak perlu, you just state. Right? So after that you buat current account equal to, baru letak formula. Apa dia? The good plus with the service plus with the primary plus with the secondary. And then replace all the value and give the answer. Okay. Clear? Is it clear how to answer? I prefer that way. Kalau saya makin, saya nak tengok cara macam tu. Saya tak suka serabut. Saya dah beritahu awal. So make sure you follow that. Did you clear that? How to answer? Okay tak?
Okay, madam.
Okay. Right. And then the balance on the capitals of financial account, simple. Okay. You just can straightforward give 2 sebab because the item is actually not more, less only, it's okay. You just can combine ataupun you just can give the separate way. Capital first berapa, financial berapa, after that combine. Okay. Alright. So these are for C, and D, amount of the overall balance. Overall balance, give the formula. Overall balance is equal to the current plus the financials and capital plus with the error mission. Okay, and then replace the value, give the answer. Simple. Okay. How much is the net changes in the Bank Negara International Reserve? Does the above balance of the payment indicate the deficit or surplus value? So of course, this first question, how much? How much ni tak perlu nak kira lah. Sebab apa? Sebab dalam ni tak ada pun asset item. But you know the figure. Berapa figure dia? Figure dia akan sama dengan? Sama dengan? Sama dengan siapa?
Overall balance.
Ya, tak perlu kira, but you know the thing, which is the two figure must be same. So letak aja how much berapa. But kalau ini positif, if the answer is positive, that means the figure will be
Negative.
yes. Alhamdulillah, expert dah you all ni. Tak sia-sia saya dapat booster pagi ni. Kan, saya takut saya demam. Alhamdulillah, setakat ni okey. Saya tak rasa apa-apa sekarang ni. Alhamdulillah, amin. Ini hadiah untuk saya lah sebab you all lagi faham, lagi cepat faham. Takkan hari nak kena booster kot. Okay, right. So that's first how to answer. And after that, does the above balance of the payment indicate the deficit or the surplus? So you go back to this all balance. So if the all balance is positive, that means surplus. If negative is deficit. As simple as that. Ini untuk 2019, December 2019. So after this, apa dia? Kita tengok lagi soalannya. Okay, so are you okay today? Tepu dah. So macam mana? Ada apa-apa soalan nak tanya? Kalau tak ada, okay, kita stop kat sini lah. Kalau ada apa dia, just ask. Saya dah buka untuk tutorial. You just can submit in the future. Any question? Kena nampak bintang. Bintang dan bulan. Okay, coach. InsyaAllah. Kan? Alright. So, ada lagi tak? Nama
Tak
dia
ada, madam.
ada.
Tak ada.
Okay, so by next week. Okay, make sure before we start the discussion, I really need your commitment. Which is apa? Please answer all the question first. I just focus to the calculation. Okay, I'm quite scary with the calculation. I takut kalau you tak dapat jawab. Okay, hopefully you can answer it well, right? So jawab dulu semua sebanyak yang mungkin. Okay, and we will start from the 2019 and then we will go down. Sampai mana kita boleh pergi. Kita pergi insyaAllah. Okay, so start your jawab. We start from the chapter 4. Because your final assessment, we will start from the chapter 4. 4, 5, 6, 7. That's mean for the essay, for this coming past year, for discussion, just concentrate to answer chapter 4, which is money supply and credit creation, of course. Chapter 5 tidak ada. Chapter 6 pun tidak ada. Tetapi kalau ada, jawab. Okay. And then chapter 7, definitely international trades and the balance of payment. These three, normally these three. Chapter 4 and chapter 7. Which is money supply, credit creation, international trades and balance of payment. Boleh? Jangan masa tu barulah you nak jawab. Apa kesannya? Dia tak akan jadi efektif. Sebab apa? Sebab you tidak learn to answer the question and you don't know the difficulty of the question. You not experience it alone. Alright, you must experience it alone by yourself. Baru you tahu, soalan ni gini, soalan tu macam tu. Barulah you boleh kata jawab. Baru you faham, baru you orang kata lengkap dapat satu package. Tapi kalau masa tu you baru nak start jawab, you tend to be what? You tend to be like, tunggulah kawan lain jawab, apa dia nanti salin soalan. Bila you buat macam tu, it's not effective for you. kena faham apa saja yang lecturer buat bukan untuk lecturer tau. It's for you. It's for you. You as a student. Ya nak jawab exam you. Saya tukang marking je. Okay, you are the one that orang kata face all that difficulty. So I nak prepare, kalau boleh I nak prepare you ni, so then you are orang kata in a complete, in good package enough to answer whatever the question. Okay, right. Ada lagi apa-apa? Ada? Kalau tak ada saya stop sini lah.
Tak ada, madam.
Ada. Okay, kalau tak ada sampai sini, Alhamdulillah. Don't forget to answer all the questions. So, submit whatever you should submit in the future. Okay, so Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam.
Welcome.
Thank you, madam.
Yes. Bye-bye.